Good evening. Sorry to come in. This is the UC session, but today, as a courtesy and love to the Creator, you got to understand why the old ancient time they chose the birth of Mitra to be 21st of December. It's a symbolic birth of becoming enlightened after a long time of ignorance and being like animals, living, understanding only what it needs to eat and sleep and whatever goes with the physical dimension. The symbolic enlightenment and what we see as the light of Mitra, and why what we call 21st of December has been chosen, because it's symbolic in a way that 2021st, the night, is the longest night in the year, showing the darkness, the ignorance of man. And after such a long time of ignorance about the Creator, man has awakened. And that's how the life of Mitra has been celebrated. It's enlightenment of the man to understand the presence and what we call existence of the Creator. Man was ignorant. He was just lived in jungles like animals. And a long time, which is the longest night of the year, symbolic of that time, and then enlightens to a new cycle, enlightens to understand the presence of the Creator. In the same process, if you look at all the religions, when they call for confirmation of Messiah, Mitra, Mehdi, is that light, is the time when man will be enlightened again, woken for the second time. Now that has been such a long, dark time of understanding about the God and the rest of it, now he becomes enlightened to understanding of the presence of the soul. And this is that day. Today is that day. For once man became enlightened to understand the presence of the light of the creation after such a long darkness of time. And now after thousands of years, for the second time today, man is getting enlightened to, even though being aware of the existence of the Creator, to awaken with the light, that light awakeness is the presence of his soul and the Creator. In so many ways, religions and other things have covered it up under different names, but Mitra, Messiah, Messiah in Jewish language and the same in Mehdi, all comes from that name. All is the same. Enlightenment. The time when man knows about the truth about himself, the existence of his soul. And as I said many times, maybe for the first time, man today understands the true meaning of Messiah. Once got enlightened with the light of the existence of the Creator, the light of knowledge that what it is. And again, today, with the light that within him is that the Creator, where we call it the Day of Judgment. It's when he gets enlightened to understand the whole essence of the creation, and the light is within him, which is the soul of the man. the knowledge to understand. And we will see, as of today, many changes as man has matured to learn what we call to another cycle of what we call existence. Many of you were waiting for the birth of Mitra. Mitra has already been born. Is the presence of understanding is what I call resurrection. What is come back in the name of man himself. Each one of your souls, nothing else. Your souls, your soul of physicality or a dimension of physicality, becoming aware of the darkness you lived in for so many years under the name of doesn't matter what religion or what belief. This is the day of what we call joy. This is the day of enlightenment, where in the past they always covered it under the name of when somebody comes. That someone is you, is your soul, to be enlightened and awakened from such a long night dark of the 20th into 21st. In a way, it's a change. In a way, it's the day of judgment. For judging, recognizing the lights of the Creator within you and nothing else. And you will see changes. Mankind will change rapidly from on. And we will bring that change one way or another. And we haven't started the change. As of yesterday and coming time, you will see a lot of changes in the history of man. We have made moves in so many directions. It's involvement of everyone to reach one point or another. But this is the true understanding of the 21st of December, or the day when the man got enlightened, as is the point of the birth of the soul of the man. For man himself to understand the existence of his own creation and creator, which is within him. And this, in a way, brings a cycle. We will see huge changes to come. Next 2022 is the year of balance, is the year of corrections, is the core base of the change for humanity. And we haven't started it. You as Universal Council members have supported it without you knowing, and you're establishing it through your soul, not your physicality. And I think in a very short few minutes, now we understand the truth about 21st of December and what we call not resurrection of Mitra, but all the prophets promised to this day. Not the day of judgment, but they are a day of enlightenment of man to the existence of his own soul and the new cycle that up to now, before Mitra comes, before the light, the intellect to confirm the presence of the Creator, now man understands the second cycle as of today, the existence of his own soul, the day of judgment. Whatever all prophets promised, today is fulfilled. And today is the day of Mehdi. Today is the day which was promised to be the day of Messiah and the rest, where man now is enlightened fully and we reach every soul. And it's for man to find the source of enlightenment within himself. It's the birth of new cycle for every soul in every corner of the universe. And you shall see huge changes within and the human race will change very rapidly. But it needs examples. It needs standing up. It needs to be shown, to be guided to work as one in what we call cross borders. And aside from what today stands for, as we guide, we bring the position, Keshe Foundation has made those moves to bring those breakdown through barriers, through borders, through injustices. We have had an extremely successful 5+1 close on Friday, and hopefully during this week, the other parts of it will come together. And in a very direct but indirect way, we had to interfere. As many of you know, the negotiations were just about to break apart. Keshe Foundation, through its work, directly intervened in the background by releasing knowledge to the Americans and to the rest, and bringing an understanding that there is a need for a change, because what we know we can bring the change. And within the week we interfered, we've seen the progress. We've seen how those who were arrogant stepped down and those who were pushing stepped up to understand what they can do. And thanks to many of you as knowledge seekers, as Universal Council members. I spent a week in the background cajoling with every way for them to understand there is no need for this, and we achieved it. It is a beautiful day, and after 26, when we resume negotiations, we shall see what we call consensus, what we call somehow mankind will come to understand that, and to celebrate the opening of the understanding that the nations will change. Keshe Foundation has made its next move with the agreement with Keshe Foundation Arizona, which John is behind it, and Keshe Foundation is a shareholder in Arizona, and Keshe Foundation Iran with the Iranian team behind it. Keshe Foundation has structured and has released orders for one flight enhancement unit to be sent directly to Arizona, and one directly to Tehran. The first 3 units, which are completed hopefully in the next few weeks, each one will leave for one center. And we have invited Chinese government, the Iranians, and the Americans to work in these 3 centers together from first week of January to make sure that collectively we create a condition of peace amongst all nations through travel, through space with breaking borders. We have invited NASA at the highest level, the Chinese space, what we call government organization. We have requested from Iran space and the government to issue the invitations for all to join in Tehran, and the third one in Vienna. And collectively, these 3 units will bring the scientists from 3 nations, or what we call all the nations, to work together to reach the target of 6th of June flights. And you will see at Arizona Center very soon the first flight system. And from there on, every week we add one more unit to the enhancement units in Arizona. We were not shipping or exporting any technology to US unless the understanding of the peace would have been established, and we established it. And this gives a more encouragement to open the whole structure of the knowledge between nations. In a way, the first move to bring the borders down as it started. And with that, we'll see the peace, and with it, we understand the elevation of the soul of the man to understand more about himself. And it was necessary to do this to show that what mankind was afraid of, now what it was created to be afraid of, now it becomes a source of the friendship, peace, and in so many ways. Does not matter where you will be in a very short time. In 2022, the knowledge, the technology will be at the reach of every man in every corner of this planet, where you'll be traveling anywhere you like within minutes, but it's done collectively by all the nations. And I thank sincerely and deeply from John in Arizona and the Iranian team headed by Yusuf, and the what we call European team headed by Dr. Klaus. And that this thing will take shape in the next 4 or 5 weeks, where the scientists from different organizations will be invited to come in to collectively to build a system which frees man from physicality of this planet. And everything is set for it. And we have the Arizona ready to go, and all process in this section has started. What we call the platform for flights in Arizona is getting developed to be ready to accept, and the same will be in Iran, and the same will be what we call in Vienna. Yesterday we have signed to establish the first space company in Austria, spaceship company in Austria, ready within the law to accept and bring in the first space unit into Europe, into Vienna, where the heads of the IAEA can be there while the technology is developed to bring the fear of nuclear weapon technology of Iran to an end. We have invited all the space agencies who are effective in this game on the governmental side to join us. And this brings a huge change. This brings, as we said, the first step for the man to wake up from the night of 21st of such a long time darkness of creating borders to create division, and now we break the divisions and the borders down. And this is the beginning of a lot of changes for many of you. By the end of 2022, many of you will not even remember what happened in 2021, because the changes will be so joyful that man will start understanding the process of the creation and the creator and the soul. Because the more people get involved in this, the more people get enlightened. And in the process of developing the space technology for flight, you will see the technology for production of materials within the system, the production of the system for what we call enhancement system. But in reality, you will see the enlightenment of the soul of the man. And this, now you understand what I said. Many of you, when you go into the system, you will see a light glow inside. It's where your soul elevates to understand the totality of the knowledge. And it's the beginning of the change. Today is the day which was promised. Many of you were afraid of the day of judgment, the day of what we call return, and today is that day. And many of you will understand this very soon. Today is the day, what they called eternal Med, the Messiah and the rest. And that is you in that return who now understand how you've been enlightened, how long you've been living in the dark, the last and so long this light. And this is what it was promised, the return to the next cycle, when man understands is new, what we call true love for Creator and the Created himself. We had to do this, and as I said, 5+1 was a catalyst to this, to bring that change. And one day we will release the documents that you understand how the world leaders understood and how we interfered and how we intervened. Thank you very much for all your work, and stay there solid and support the soul of the negotiators and the world scientists who endeavor to break the norms of the past.
Congratulations, Mr. Kesh.